Hello everyone, Amarjit here from Amar PTE classes. Today I am going to perform a mock test of reading section. This test will help you in learning how to manage time during a particular task and how to apply the tips and tricks while appearing in the exam. You can perform the same test with me along the video, or you can repeat it after watching my video, or you can compare your way of appearing in test with my test and can check where you need improvement. It will help in overall improvement of your score. So let's start.
Application forms for sharing accommodations must be completed.
Check your microphone. The uniquely scented flavor of vanilla is second only to chocolate in popularity on the world's palate. It's also the second most expensive spice after saffron, but highly labor intensive cultivation methods and the plant's temperamental life cycle and propagation mean production on a global scale is struggling to keep up with the increasing demand for the product. The uniquely scented flavor of vanilla is second only to chocolate in popularity on the world's palate. It's also the second most expensive spice after saffron, but highly labor intensive cultivation methods and the plant's temperamental life cycle and propagation mean production on a global scale is struggling to keep up with the increasing demand for the product. The physical location of a restaurant in the competitive landscape of the city has long been known as a major factor in its likely success or failure. Once restaurants are established in such environments, they can do little about their location. All they can do is work to improve customer access to their premises. The physical location of a restaurant in the competitive landscape of the city has long been known as a major factor in its likely success or failure. Once restaurants are established in such environments, they can do little about their location. All they can do is work to improve customer access to their premises. The elephant is the largest living land mammal. During evolution, its skeleton has greatly altered from the usual mammal, designed for two main reasons. One is to cope with the great weight of huge grinding cheek teeth and elongated tusks, making the skull particularly massive. The other is to support the enormous bulk of such a huge body. Elongated, enormous. The elephant is the largest living land mammal. During evolution, its skeleton has greatly altered from the usual mammal, designed for two main reasons. One is to cope with the great weight of huge grinding cheek teeth and elongated tusks, making the skull particularly massive. The other is to support the enormous bulk of such a huge body. Australians speak English, of course, but for many tourists and even some locals, Australian English has only tenuous links with mother tongue. Our speech is prepared with words and phrases whose arcane meanings are understood only by the initiate. It is these colorful colloquialisms that Australian slang said to truly explain. Australians speak English, of course, but for many tourists and even some locals, Australian English has only tense lengths with mother tone. Our speech is prepared with words and phrases whose arcane meanings are understood only by the initiate. It is these colorful colloquialisms that Australian slang said to truly explain. Lincoln apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity. Emancipate. Lincoln apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort by justifiable as a military necessity. The brain is divided into two hemispheres called the left and right hemispheres. Each hemisphere provides a different set of functions, behavior, and controls. The right hemisphere is often called the creative side of the brain, while the left hemisphere is the logical or analytic side of the brain. The brain is divided into two hemispheres called the left and right hemispheres. Each hemisphere provides a different set of functions, behaviors, and controls. The right hemisphere is often called the creative side of the brain, while the left hemisphere is the logical or analytic side of the brain. Analysts were impressed by the improvement in margins reported across all regions apart from the United Kingdom and said that this reflected a clear effort to improve profitability across the business. Although the turnaround is still in its early stages and the valuation looks full given the challenge of turning around such a large and complex business, this is certainly an impressive start. Analysts were impressed by the improvement in margins reported across all regions apart from the United Kingdom and said that this reflected a clear effort to improve profitability across the business. Although the turnaround is still in its early stages and the valuation looks full given the challenge of turning around such a large and complex business, this is certainly an impressive start. Now this is the summarized written text. Now let's start with the first line. Banks provide short-term finance to companies in the form of an overdraft on a current account, semicolon, give a space, connector is put, comma, here it is account. Then choose the second line. So I am taking second line from the second paragraph. The farmer whose crop fails because of bad weather knows the knows the problem of being unable to repay the overdraft. Repay a overdraft, semicolon, connector here is hence repay. Hence now choose the second line, last line. Here word is 37. Hence the bank's answer that the rates charged reflect relative risk and it is their experience that small companies are more risky. Full stop. So word limit here is 58. You can also add the extra words like I am adding here problem of unable to repay the overdraft and the cost of the overdraft increases. Hence, so this is the first line and here it is semicolon, give a space, then put use as a connector, then put the comma and give a space. This is the second line. I am using second line from here and also using and the cost of the overdraft increases. Now put semicolon here, then use the connector hence, then put the comma, then bank answered that the rates will risky. Now click on the next button. Now this is the first filling the blanks, reading and writing, filling the blanks. First take the idea of the paragraph. Spanish is spoken by more than 300 million people in over 20 centuries and it is rapidly becoming one of the most popular for language learners. So according to me, the paragraph is about the Spanish language because here is the Spanish, here it is Spanish and here it is Spanish. So Spanish is spoken by more than 300 million people in over 20 centuries and countries and it is rapidly becoming one of the most popular choices because commodities and improvements is not suited here. So I will take choices. A popular course for beginners. World Spanish is designed to dash. Now here it is to, so I will use first form of word with to record the varied needs, meet the and choose the and satisfies the. So if it is needs, then we will meet the needs. So I will take here meet the needs of adult learners. Learning at home. So as learning at home, whether learning at home nor or not. So I am taking here whether it is learning at home or in a class. Next is develop your listening and speaking skills with confidence and many opportunities and applies, provides, encroaches and initiates. So these are the not suitable words here. So I will choose provides. Using the extensive of media available, extensive series, range, rate or wisdom. Wisdom will not use here, so rate will not use here, then we use range of media. Series is not suitable with the media, so we use range of media. Now last is the television series and free online. Actions, activities, breaches and the Bing. So I will choose activities because here it is free online. Accompanying television series and free online activities. Online cannot be actions, so we choose activities here. So choices meet, weather, provides, range and activities. Click on the next button. Next is Bhutan used to be one of the most isolated nations in the world. Developments including direct international flights and the internet mobile phone networks and cable television have. So here it is have, and cable televisions have spontaneously, increasingly, contemporarily and mechanically. Mechanically will not go with cable television or contemporarily. So it can be spontaneously and increasingly. But after the blank it is modernize the urban areas of the country. So we will use increasingly here. Bhutan has modernization with its ancient culture and traditions. So here again it has juggled, opted, balanced, altered. Bhutan has modernization with its ancient culture and traditions. So here it is culture and traditions. So we used here balanced. Now in this third, rampant of the environment has been avoided. So destruction, embodiment, vanity and execution. So these three will not go here. So we will use destruction, destroy. The government takes great dash to preserve the nation's traditional culture. Great pride, measure, effects and allowance. So pride is not here. Measures can be the correct option. Effects will not go here and allowance will not go there. So we will use measures to preserve the nation's. Next in Business Week magazine rated Bhutan the happiest country in Asia and the 8th happiest in the world. A global survey submitting, citing, reviewing and proving. So if it is a survey, global survey conducted by the University of this in 2006, so we will use citing, not submitting with survey or reviewing the survey or proving the survey. Survey will not prove, so we will use here citing. So first is increasingly, balanced, destruction, measures, citing. So click on the next button. In third paragraph, in a sequence of bestseller including the language instinct and how the mind works, Pinker has argued the stress of our mental, social and emotional lives may have. So with have we use third form of verb, regarded, described, assimilated and the originated. So may have as evolutionary adaptations well suited to the lives or our ancestors out on the swan. So we use may have evolutionary. So with evolutionary we use originated. So sometimes it seems as if nothing is from being explained this way, prohibited, convinced, immune, or protected. If it seems as if nothing is immune, prohibited means stop, convince, not go here, protected from being, not go here. So we will use immune. Next is senior executives with corner offices and the smaller number of women who become mechanical engineers all may have their dash in natural selections, needs, root, demands and values. In natural selection we will use always roots in natural selection, demands, values and needs will not go there. That men and women might in their inborn abilities. So women and men will differ in their abilities, or that parenting may have influence on personality. So little influence, some, small or more influence. So we can say little influence on personality. First is originated, immune, roots, differ and little. So click on the next button. Before effective anesthetic, surgery was very crude and very painful. Before 1800, alcohol and opium had dash success in easing pain. A little, little, a few and few. So we use opium had, use little with it. Laughing gas was used in 1844 in the USA but failed to ease all pain and patient dash conscious, contained, retained, remained, released. So contained and retained will not go with this blank, so we'll use remained conscience. However, it could make patients cough during operations and stick sick afterwards. It was highly flammable and dash in heavy glass bottles. Has transported, was transported, had transported, and have. So here it is was. So we use was transported. In the last, it was difficult to get the dose right and could kill some people. The effect on their heart. Due, if we use due, then it will due to the effect. But will not go here. Because of the effect can be rather than will no go here. So we use because of the effect on their heart. Click on next button. Next is a herbal is a book of plants describing their appearance, their properties, and how they may be used for preparing ointments and medicines. The medical use of plants is dash on fragments of this from ancient Egypt, Smyrna and Samaria and China. The medical use of plant is registered, recorded, memorized, or discovered. So we use here register will no go with the plants. Recorded can be the right option. Memorized will not go here. Discovered can be the right option, but on fragments, so we use recorded on fragments. In the second, a Greek physician called Discordes wrote a herbal that was into Latin and Arabic. So was moved, no, Latin and Arabic. Interpreted can be the option, translated be the option, but removed will not go here. So we use translated because interpreted is a different term. In third, an illustrated manuscript copy of the text made in this modern day Istanbul from the 6th century. Preserves, revives, will not, and survives, suffers. So we use from the 6th centuries. Manuscript of the copy. So we use here survives from the 6th century. Whose job was to make the pills and potions instructed by physicians. Physicians always prescribed. So we use here prescribed. Click on the next button. Now this is the multiple choice answers. Paragraph is given on the left hand side and the answer is question is what has been revealed by the analysis of ancient DNA from one of the Britain's best preserved Neolithic tombs. So the result provide new insights in Neolithic art. More than half of them were close relatives. Agriculture hadn't been invented when the group were living. All of the people buried in the Neolithic tombs are descended from 5 generations of one extended family. It reveals the details of the organization of the prehistoric family. So, in the first, DNA is the best preserved Neolithic tombs in Britain has revealed that most of the people buried there for the 5 continuous generations. And bones and teeth of this Karen in this the research team was able to detect were close biological relatives. So here it is were close relatives. The group lived this and had been introduced to Britain, published in Nature. It is the first study to reveal in prehistoric family was structured, and the archaeologists say that the result provide new insight in kinship and brutal practices in Neolithic times. So it is the prehistoric families. So according to me, option is B and E. You can spend only 1 minute on this question. Now this is second. According to the paragraph, Fuller's fire dance was notable in part of its. Fuller had scientific leanings. Options are use of color gels to illuminate glass, use of dyes and paints to create an image of fire, performance with music of Richard, technique of lighting the dancer from beneath, diapers with draperies, small dots resembling the pointless technique of Surret. Now translate this electrical color gels aspect of this invented and patented special arrangement of mirrors, chemical dyes. chemical dyes. Her interest in color to reserve was several artists of the period paint, and this from Paul's technique of creating this light on applying color and the fluor major illumination was under lightning which stood on a pane of rested. This was particularly effective on this ride of the dance caught by the. So according to me, performance with music, see here, and this is the D technique of lighting the dancer from the beneath, C and D. Click on the next. So this is the reorder paragraph, third task of the reading section. Around the world, wind in valleys generally travels up the valley and up the sides of mountain during the day. This is often driven by differences in pressure. So if here it is this, then this can be here or here. This is often driven by differences in pressure caused by the slopes of the mountains and the shape of the valleys. Around 1 billion people depend on water resources originating from this, attributable to both rainfall and melting of snow and ice. The wind in the valleys in the region plays an important role in transporting clouds and moisture and redistributing snow in the valleys, and so understanding what drives the wind is crucial. So according to me, third is the first sentence of the order paragraph. Here it is around, here it is around, but it start with around 1 billion people depend on water resources, both rainfall and melting of snow and ice. And after that, the next is the wind in the valleys in the region play an important role in transporting cloud and moisture and redistributing snow, melting of snow, redistributing snow in the valley, and so understand drive the wind is crucial. So this is the second sentence of the reorder paragraph. Now after that, around the world, wind in valley generally travel up the valley and up the sides of mountain during the day. This is often. So according to me, the sequence is third, fourth, first and second. Click on the next button. Next, the longer of a child can resist the temptation has been correlated with higher journal competency later in life. The second is the child is told if you don't eat this treat for 15 minutes, you can have both this one and a second one. Kids on average wait for 5 or 6 minutes before eating the marshmallow. A 4 to 6-year-old child sits alone in a room at a table facing a marshmallow on a plate. So according to me, every sentence start with the independent, the, then kids and a. But it's a kids on average, and the child is told. So a 4 to 6 year. So it start with a 4 to 6 year. Sit alone in a room at a table facing a marshmallow on a plate. After that, the child is told if you don't eat. This is the second sentence, second one. After that, kids on average wait for 5 to 6 minutes. And the longer a child can resist the temptation has been correlated with higher journal competency later in life. So according to me, sequence is 4, 2, 3rd and 1. Click on the next button. This is the reading filling the blanks. For the first time, Japanese researchers have a real life experiment that shows how some terrific jams appear for no apparent reason. They placed 22 vehicles on a single track and asked the drivers to diss around a constant speed of this as the traffic moved, but soon the distance between cars started to vary and vehicle clumped together at one point on the track, but the jams backwards. So options are here: dangle, tramp, abruptly, spread, smoothly, cruise, sustained and conducted. So for the first time, Japanese researchers have, so here it is have, so this is the third form of verb will used here. So third form is sustained, conducted. So according to me, conducted a real life experiment that shows how traffic jam appear for no apparent reason. They placed 22 vehicles on a single track and asked the drivers to dash around a constant speed. So it can be spread around, no, spread around a constant speed will not go here. Smoothly cruise around a constant speed at an hour. At first traffic moved abruptly or smoothly. So traffic, but soon the distance between cars started to vary. So here it is smoothly. But the jams spread backwards. Click on the next button. The American executive, unlike the British, has no with the legislature, and this lack of between executive and legislature is one of the features of American federal government. The Constitution guarded against executive control by this disqualifying importance, obvious coordination, distinctive accepting and connection. This blank is easy because has no connection or coordination, can go with the first or second blank. So according to me, has no connection with the legislation. As the lack, so here it is lack of coordination between executive and legislature is one of the distinctive or importance will not go here, because if it is important then we can say important features of American, so we use distinctive. Different, distinctive is here, connection is here. The Constitution guarded against executive control by accepting or disqualifying. So here it is by, so we use ing form. Disqualifying federal official or accepting. So I am using here disqualifying federal officials. Click on the next button. Was Britain's most significant and influential 19th century art movement founded in this it on a group of three young artists, William Holman. These artists sought to revive English art by this old studio and bringing painting into direct with nature with an eye for absolute meaning, symbolic delicacy, accuracy, counted, persuasive, centered, tradition, relation, contact, and conflict. Founded in 1848, it on a group of three young artists. It counted or centered on a group of three young artists. These artists sought to revive English art by radically turning away from the old studio symbolic and bringing painting into direct contact with nature with an eye for absolute every detail. Every detail has now too intense, so with every detail we use accuracy as well as dash meaning, as well as here it is painting, then we use symbolic meaning. So old studio tradition will go here. Click on the next button. History is selective. What history books tell us about the past is not everything, but historians have. So options here: passion, interest, screened, pause, selected, and intervenes. So for example, when a national school curriculum for England or Wales were first discussed at the end of this, the history curriculum was the subject of considerable public and media. Politicians argue about it, people wrote letters to the press about it, the Prime Minister of the time, Margaret Thatcher, in the debate. So historians have, so here it is have, we use third form of verb with have. So here screened, paused, selected, intervened. So we use selected here. And with media, so we use media with interest. media interest. So in the debate, paused in the debate or intervened in the debate. So intervene is more suitable here for use here, intervened. Next is more than simply putting flowers in a dash. Ikbana is discipline art form in which nature and humanity are brought together. Contrary to the idea of particular or multicolor blossom, Ikbana often emphasize other areas of the dash, such as stems and leaf, and put emphasis on shape, line, and form. Though Ikbana is an of creativity, certain rules govern its form. Container, commitment, creature, arrangement, plant, expression, illusion. More than simply putting flowers in a container. We are putting flower in a container. Contrary to the idea of multicolored of blossoms, Ikbana often emphasize other areas of the, such as stem and leaf. So if here it is stem and leaf, then we use plant here. To Ikbana is an dash of creativity. So here it is an. So we use vowels here, A, E, I, O, U. So A, E, arrangement of creativity, expression, illusion. Illusion is more suitable here. Illusion of, no, illusion is not go here. Expression of creativity. So I am using arrangement of blossoms. Container, arrangement, plant, and expression. Next is where did the largest piece of from B15 eventually go? So this is the multiple choice single answer. MCQ single answer. Sea floor, Antarctica. This is MCQ single answer, and question is where did the largest piece of from B15 eventually go? And the options are seafloor, Antarctica, Child, South Pacific. Now from this paragraph, B15 broke off from the Ross ice shelf in Antarctica. It was the largest iceberg over documented with a surface area of more, and this is coast of Antarctica lingered on a shallow sea amount. For the whole of the next year, the ocean was nicer than usual, all the way up past the equator. Now, a broke part hydrophones. And also in the last paragraph, 20 years ago, not so long before B15 broke off from Antarctica. So, according to me, the answer is Antarctica. Click on the next button. Now this is the second question of MCQ single answer. Question is what is the aim of the author? Answer is to introduce a new academic subject to us. Second is to distinguish the two subjects in terms of academic importance. Third is to criticize the combination of the two subjects, and last one is to foresee a new academic trend. But in paragraph, in recent years history has experienced a linguistic turn, while literary studies have undergone a historical turn, making his combination of subjects stronger than ever. Then knowledge of the past, the forensic literary historians have to aware of genre, plot and technique, sources and their own arguments, while linguistic need to appreciate the social and literary works. So according to me, the answer is to criticize, not given here, foresee a new academic. So author is talking about making this combination of subjects stronger than ever. So according to me, answer is to introduce a new academic subjects to us. Click on the next button.
Based on the strength of Earth's gravity and the density and strength of rock, in principle you could make a single conical mountain that stretched between New York and Chicago and soared over 45 kilometers. That's twice the size of Olympus Mons and definitely dwarfs Everest. However, there are a couple of reasons why we can't actually have that humongous of a mountain here on Earth. For one, Earth's crust is made up of continental plates that essentially float in the semi-solid rock of the mantle below. If you add more weight above the surface, they sink lower into the Earth's hot interior, and when they sink far enough, they soften and basically melt. For our conical mountain, that gives a new height limit of just 15 kilometers. As well, the powerful collision of two tectonic plates, which creates mountains in the first place, also fractures and cracks the rock, weakening its structure and exposing it to erosion. Over millions of years, freeze-thaw cycles pry at these cracks, while winds claw at the slopes and streams and glaciers carve deep valleys in the mountainside, all weakening the mountain's support. This can end badly. For example, 3,764-meter-tall Aoraki Mount Cook in New Zealand had its top fall off one night in 1991, trimming it down to a 3,754-meter mountain. Given all the factors that conspire to limit the height of mountains, for example, sinking into the Earth's mantle, fractures, and erosion, I wouldn't bet on our tallest mountains getting much taller than they already are.
This is highlight incorrect words from listening section. It will contribute in listening as well as reading.
What we're going to find out today is how it's a bit more complicated than that, which it always is, and I think it's really wonderful. I mean, not being an experimental scientist myself, I have a kind of envy at the way in which science can continue to surprise us by this. People working away in labs, moving on understanding in ways. Hugo is a cognitive scientist at the French National Centre for Scientific Research. Hugo Mercier.
It's, I think, ordinary. Emotion.
Dramatic changes in human life support systems took place in the modern world over the last 500 years. Human communities during this time period reached unprecedented sizes and growth rates. Global migrations introduced exotic plants, animals, developments, technologies and cultural beliefs throughout the world. The Industrial Revolution and its aftermath transformed economies on an unparalleled scale and intensity. Urban spaces exploded in number and size during the period, and large-scale social systems emerged that were tied together by networks of economic exchange, transport and communication.
So I think first is population, then disease, ecosystem, places and production.
Although the original American Indian cultures were highly diverse, they were similar in many of their traditions. Religious beliefs and rituals permeated every aspect of Indian life. Southwest tribes such as the Hopi and the Apaches had a rich and elaborate year-round sequence of ceremonials including songs, dances, and poetry. The Hopi performed dances to bring rain. The Apaches engaged in special dances and ceremonies to gain the support of the spirits before undertaking raids or going into war. The Plains tribes often sought contact with the spirits by going on a vision quest.
Conventions, respect, northeast, celebration, searched, and I think pottery. So you can now compare your answers and can find out where you got wrong and in which areas you need improvement. So in this video, I'm sharing the answers of the reading section, and this is the first paragraph of the reading section, reading and writing filling the blanks. And the first is choices, second is meet, third is weather, fourth is provides many opportunities, and last one is free online activities. So you can match your answers for the first paragraph. So answers are choices, meet, weather, provides, range and activities. This is the second paragraph of reading and writing filling the blanks, and the aim of the paragraph is world map of happiness. So first answer is increasingly, second is balanced, third is destruction, fourth is measures, and last one is citing. So you can check your answers. These are the answers of the second paragraph. Increasingly, balanced, destruction, measures, and citing. This is the third paragraph, and the aim of the paragraph is the pinker. So options are, answers are originated, immune, roots, differ, and little. You can check from here. May have originated, nothing is immune, have their roots in natural selection, differ in their inborn abilities, and last one is many have little influence on personality. Now this is the fourth paragraph, aesthetics, and the options are had little success, remained conscious, was transported, and last one is because of the effect. So you can check your answers here. Little, remained, was transported, and because of. This is the fifth paragraph of reading and writing filling the blanks, and the answers are translated into Latin, survives from the 6th century, prescribed by physicians, and you can check your answers, recorded, translated, survives, and prescribed. And this is the next question of reading uh, reading uh, reading section, and this is the MCQ multiple answers. So options are B and E. You can check your options. B is more than half of them were close relatives, and E is it reveals the details of the organization of the prehistoric family. This is the next question of MCQ multiple answer, and the options are C and D. C is performance with music of Richard Wenger, and next is D, technique of lightning the dancer from beneath. And this is the reorder paragraph. The context is understanding differences, and the correct sequence is 3 4 1 2. 3 around 1 billion people, fourth is the wind in the valleys, then next is first around the world, then last one is this is often driven by differences in pressure. This is the second question of reorder paragraph, and the context is child temptation, and the options are 4 2 3 1. Fourth one is here, then second is the second paragraph, then third one, and then first. So correct sequence is 4 2 3 1. Next is the reading filling the blanks. So correct options are conducted a real life experiment, second is cruise around a constant speed, third one is smoothly, and next one is spread backwards. So you can check your answers here. Conducted, cruise smoothly, and spread. Now go on the next page. So this is the second paragraph, American executive. So options are connection, coordination, distinctive, and disqualifying. So you can check your answers. Connection, coordination, distinctive, and disqualifying. This is the third paragraph of reading filling the blanks. So options are centered, tradition, contact, accuracy, and symbolic. Centered, next is the tradition, contact with nature, absolute accuracy, as well as symbolic meaning. This is the next paragraph of reading filling the blanks. So context is history, and the options are have selected, media interest, and intervened in the debate. You can check your answers here. Selected, interest, and intervened. This is the next paragraph, and the options are container, arrangement, plant, and expression. Container, arrangement of blossoms, plant, and the expression of creativity. Now this is the MCQ single answer. So option is B. Correct option is B, Antarctica. This is the last question of reading section, and this is the MCQ single answer, and you can check your answer here. Correct option is A, to introduce a new academic subject to us. So in this video I am only sharing the answers of the reading section. Now, if you want to discuss any point, you can write in the comment section, or you can also write an email to me. I will reply to your answers, and don't forget to like and share these videos and subscribe to my channel. And in case if you want any kind of help for online classes and offline classes for any particular section, like if you are facing problem in speaking section or reading section, then you can contact me for online and offline classes. Thank you so much for watching this video.